I agree. All right, we've been talking about real estate for now like half an
Yeah.
hour. So
And
let's.
I want to wrap this up by 9.
All right, so we got 13 minutes to talk about crypto and where everything stands with that tokenization, all of this great fancy stuff. So we've gone back and forth about this. Tokenization scares me, and I'm not a fan of that.
I love it.
I think it's going to completely change the world. Tokenization. I think, especially just finance in general. I don't like tokenization of real estate, and you know a lot about it. So just explain.
Okay, I'll explain because it's a very new topic.
Yeah.
So before we get into like the tokenization of assets, I want to start with 2 things. I want to start with, well, actually, I'll give an example now. Before I do tokenization, I'm going to NFT specifically.
Okay.
So, for example, you own a home, right?
Yeah.
And the ownership is tracked like as a deed. You have a deed. Now, an NFT is essentially just a secure piece of information, and it's verified that a certain wallet holder owns that. And we're going to begin validating the ownership of real tangible assets like real estate through a form of a non-fungible token, that of which you hold in your wallet address that is then connected to your identity. So, and then what can happen is every single piece of history is automatic, because this is just how blockchain technology works. Every single thing that's validated onto that NFT. Oh, I got a new roof last year. Here's the contract. You can upload that information. I mean, this all has to be built. This doesn't really fully exist yet. I'm just envisioning 5 to 10 years, probably a decade from now. You're going to have all the history of the past sales, any contractual work done, photos, contracts, everything. And that's going to be stamped onto the NFT. So then when you sell it, it has a digitalized, verified record of everything of the house. And that's going to be part of the whole automation between like the buying experience online, etc. Now, that's just like an idea of the NFT, right? Of just like how where we're taking real world assets, we're taking this extremely complex system of old paperwork. You meet with an attorney, you sign 50 million documents just to transfer the ownership of a property. And I don't know, you do title searches or what. I don't even know how the hell any of that stuff works. Okay.
Okay.
But that's the idea of like, we're digitalizing real world assets. We're even digitalizing. And then this goes into the conversation of tokenization. So I'll give you an example of another example of how we're tokenizing assets. The biggest asset we're tokenizing right now is the US dollar, where the United States government has tokenized United States treasuries. This is already has an approval stamp, is already regulated. The federal government has regulated this. It's being completely audited. If you own USDC, you are buying a US dollar treasury note. And anyone can buy it. And this is huge for the United States dollar, because anyone in the entire world can now allocate. Let's say you live in Venezuela and you have an extremely inflationary currency, and you work, you get paid, you don't know what your money's worth the next day. You can buy with
US dollars.
You can buy US dollar digitally, boundarylessly, like without permission from your government, and you can do it online, digitally through a mobile phone.
Wow. Now,
so,
is that
example of tokenization?
Do you think that that's going to be replaced by any sort of reserve? Because now it's just a digital dollar reserve.
It's whatever,
like a Bitcoin reserve or something. Or they're just 2 completely different currencies.
So put it this way: the United States government, the federal government, their job is to audit. In this circumstance, their job is to audit the company Circle that manages USDC, the stable coin. And their job is to make sure that they're properly backing up the customer funds at a 1-to-1 ratio with the United States dollar note. And that's all they're required to do. As long as I buy USDC and they have a dollar note that's backing it, you know, if I want to sell that or if I want to buy something with it, I want to transfer it, the money's there.
Yeah.
And I don't know in terms of like lending standards, because it's the same thing as banking. Like we live in a fractional reserve banking system. So, and you can hold it on Coinbase and you get 4.5% APY, which is amazing.
Wow.
What's your savings yield? That's what it's always should been.
That's with the coin, the US dollar coin?
Yeah, well, like put it this way. What's the percent yield? What's the yield on treasury notes? It's 4.5%. Why am I not earning? I have US dollar in a savings account.
Savings account. Yeah, you're earning 0.004. Yeah.
Why am I not getting the yield of a treasury note?
Yeah.
And then they lend it on top of that, incurring risk that my money can just disappear.
By 10x, by the way. That's what banks are allowed to do.
10%.
Yeah, of their lending power. It's fucked up. I know the bank, but that's what America's built on, is the bank. So they're like that's kind of like what it is. That's what it is. And you're able to take advantage of that too as a solo consumer, being able to get a loan and being able to qualify for certain things, not to the extent that the banks are, by just having the money.
But that takes time to get to. I mean, if you properly lend and you become really good at borrowing money at an interest rate, allocating it into an investment and outperforming the debt, that's the whole game.
That is, yeah.
Of building. That's like how the entire world was built, the economy, banking. And then over decades, it just compounds to the point where, you know, you just get approved for hundreds of millions of dollars to develop a big project, and you can take on the responsibility and that risk because you've built this history of trust and execution and actually a return on investment. Yeah. And that's all it is. It's just, I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily. You know, where I think there's an issue is when people use customer funds and then they use them for their own good or greed, and they don't properly allocate them to what they told the investor that they were going to do. That's the only wrong I see. Like that's the FTX crash. That's you know, people say, oh, I'm going to use this money and create this business, and then they spend it on a bunch of booze, hookers, and cocaine. That's fucked up.
I agree. Yeah. So okay. So I mean, now we're here at this USDC. Is what it's called? US dollar coin.
So this is an example of tokenizing treasuries, where and what this enables is anyone in the world can now access the United States Treasury market and get yield from it anywhere from the world with just internet access. That is huge for the United States dollar. Now, what if we did this into real estate? These they're called smart contracts. They're completely customizable. They can represent shares of a company. The company can generate revenue. Let's say I have 100 token holders. I can airdrop. Let's say I have 100 token holders, and my company made $10,000 this quarter or this month. Let's say this month, and half of the company's revenue, I want the token holders to get a dividend. I can easily, with a click of a button, airdrop that profit to every token holder, whoever they are around the entire globe. Yeah. Now, let's say we're tokenizing 10 residential properties on the Jersey Shore, right? Worth $5 million. They generate, let's say, the numbers probably won't make sense, but I just trying to keep it simple. They're worth $5 million. You have $4 million in debt at whatever interest rate, and you generate, I don't know, $500,000 a year, right?
Yeah.
Out of the $500,000, you tell all of your token holders, or the board does.
Okay.
Out of the $500,000 we made, we're putting $100,000 into reserves, $200,000 into reinvestment for expansion, and then the other $200,000 gets airdropped to all the token holders for their investment, and they get the yield directly. And now anyone in the world has an opportunity to get market exposure to 10 residential homes in the Jersey Shore. And it completely, it makes any market in the entire world of real estate accessible to any investor around the globe. And then let's say, sorry, I'm just going to 20 seconds.
Continue. Yep.
If I want to build a real estate development and I want to do it in a specific area and I need investors, I can then market the property, create the token, ask for an investment, and anyone in the world can buy it, bet on me, and get market exposure in that specific geolocation. And it's just globalizing investments seamlessly and making it completely borderless.
Mm.
That's what it's going to do, I think.
When you were just explaining that, I always gathered that information as what you just explained, where I'm purchasing a portion of your ownership of the house. So if you bought a house, $5 million, you put $1 million down, you whatever, you have $1 million in equity, and I'm buying a portion of that to help you build or have some ownership of how much rent is coming back in. But where my mind just went with it was perhaps instead of that being sold strictly off of ownership towards you, why can't I get it tokenized to the bank where now I'm part owner of your mortgage? And instead of being,
you sort of.
It's not like a HELOC, because that would almost be like a sort of a HELOC. Where
Well, the debt is under the debt is not the LLC, but whatever the debt
ownership
is represented under the company, and the company's represented by the token shares.
So are you saying that this is almost it's
a stock?
Is it an alternative to having a mortgage?
Not at all. No. It's not an alternative.
Why not though? It could be.
I see where the confusion is.
Yeah.
It's not I wouldn't say it's an alternative to the mortgage. It's creating a second layer where you can then, it's creating a secondary market where then people can now trade, buy, own, and sell a portfolio of real estate run by an organization, and it's traded on a secondary market. Put it this way. Let's say you're, I don't know, let's say you're like Marriott hotels. They have a stock that people can invest on a secondary market, but they take out a mortgage to buy real estate.
Yes.
It's the same thing. I'm going to take out a mortgage at this interest rate to buy these properties. And then on a secondary market, I say, hey, these shares represent this debt and this real estate and the revenue it produces, and it's managed by this organization of people. And they can invest in that. And then that price gets traded. It's not actually, it can get overvalued where it becomes actually because more people bid on it. And it can become overvalued relative to the amount of equity, debt, and revenue. Yeah. Or the market can crash and it can be undervalued. And that's an opportunity to trade and buy those shares at a cheap scoop.
But it's just similarly to crypto, where there's a market cap. Do you think that there's going to be a market cap for companies like Marriott, for example, where there's a certain amount of money that's in the stock market that people are trading strictly because of the company's performance? Now it's a whole different thing, but the same people who buy the Marriott stock are probably going to be interested in buying the Marriott token of real estate. So do you think that money is just going to keep shifting and the stocks are going to kind of plummet from that?
Well, I think they're just going to tokenize stocks.
The way that I see it is stocks are
CEO of BlackRock. He's like tokenizing everything. They're going to tokenize the NASDAQ. They're going to tokenize. I mean, this is an individual idea. Yeah. No one's done it. Yeah. I think the shift from stock to tokenization is going to happen before somebody, like, this is something I would be interested in building, but it all has to be created. It's just an idea right now.
You're saying that the tokenization is going to be completely, is going to wipe out like the stock market. It's not
I
going
don't
to
think
be
it's not going to wipe it out. It's going to replace it.
wipe out was the wrong word, yeah, but
But
not
yes,
using, yeah,
it's
not using stocks at all anymore.
the user might not even know. For example, if you go on Ticketmaster and you buy a concert ticket is just a lease for a seat at a stadium. But nobody knows that what they're buying is actually not an NFT on a blockchain, and that's how they now record the ticket ownerships. No one knows that. It's just back-end tech.
Yeah,
it's just software. So nobody actually on the front end, most consumers are going to have no idea. But it's just better tech, and it enables a larger market of access of users. It just totally makes it borderless, and it's just a better stock market, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it also creates an opportunity for anyone. Anyone can build this. You know how difficult it is to publicize a company? Anyone can now just create a token and verify what it represents. And
then you're going to find even more rug pulls that are hidden in what's supposed to be a very professional lane. Like if we're gonna see businesses like Marriott next to a fucking Hawk2A coin, and that's gonna just completely ruin the reputation of what the stock market was.
The stock market is giant. What about GameStop?
Okay, that's 1 in a fucking million.
For example, well, yeah, but the stock market, the Hawk2A coin is abundantly known as what does it represent? That's on you for putting your money into Hawk2A.
Yeah, I agree.
It's your fault. Oh, Hawk2A coin is going to be an established business that has thousands of employees, represents ownership of all this real estate, and you know what, has a really good use of customers and provides a great service and generates all this revenue. I should invest in Hawk2A coin.
Well, what I'm saying,
it's just gambling. Everyone knows that.
Now I can go on to Fidelity and I can invest in Hawk2A coin just as easily as I can invest in Apple, which I don't think is a good thing.
You can just easily download a casino app and throw your money on slots and lose it all. You can just easily walk into a convenience store, buy a lottery ticket, and if you win anything, half of that money goes to the state. Like the access, I think accessibility to any sort of wanting to gamble is completely fine. And it's on the users, it's on you as an independent adult to be responsible with your finances.
I agree.
And
that
I think
I'm not saying that it shouldn't happen. I'm just saying it's going to devalue the perception of what the stock market is if all of these different Bitcoins are put next to these very big companies. Now, maybe if it's a different section and it's like, all right, this is where all the legitimate things are. This is like crypto, and this is.
If you go on CoinMarketCap, it has different sections where it literally says meme token, and then it says real world asset tokens.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. So
yeah,
that's good. Okay, then that's good.
Or you have Dogecoin, but I mean, in terms of unless you organize it by market cap, yeah, some of the meme tokens are up there.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, you have a bunch of idiots throwing. I mean, and it's just a fun Ponzi game.
But, yeah. Well, this has been good back and forth banter with this, but I am excited to see where that goes in the future with tokenization, and perhaps we could see tokenization in real estate agency businesses. Maybe I could buy a little bit of like Ethan Hines stock and just let it sit for 10 years, and I'll be a billionaire in the future.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to build, man.
Let's go.
Really quick before we wrap this up. Apparently Base, so Coinbase, they're tokenizing content.
I know, I saw that in the podcast you sent me with the CEO.
So that'll be interesting.
But that's on Base. That's not on Instagram or anything like that. So it's gonna have to be a whole another adaptation of a social media.
They'd have to onboard users, but they already have a third of the world on their app.
You have it downloaded
Base, yeah.
and you post content on there?
No, it's not out yet. It's on.
Yeah.
It's on. They're building it. They haven't done any marketing push. They haven't done anything yet.
How far until then, you think?
I forget. I had it written down a couple months.
I think once that happens, it's a no-brainer though for all these top people to just jump over there.
No brainer. You know how profitable it's going to be for content creators.
Yeah.
Because now YouTube, TikTok isn't going to have their 99% take rate anymore.
Yeah.
Because you're going to create a piece of content, it's going to get tokenized, and then anyone can buy your shares of that. Or like, I don't know how it's going to work. I have no idea. But like, let's say you see a YouTube video and you're like, this thing's valuable. I am one of the first people to see it. I'm willing to bet the algorithm is going to push this out and this is going to do very well. And a lot of people are going to get value out of this. I'm going to buy
it. Like likes on a comment.
Yeah, instead of leaving a comment, you can be financially exposed to the success of that piece of content or that content creator. You can bet on someone.
But it's all on a blockchain though, right?
It's all on a blockchain. Like, let's say
I can look at a Joe Rogan thing and I can be like, oh my God, Ethan just bet $1,000 on Joe Rogan's next episode coming out.
Exactly. Let's say I'm making an account and I'm like, all my friends like, yo, guys, I want everyone to bet on me. Buy my token. Don't sell it. I'm gonna blow up on social media. If it happens and I'm successful with it, or anyone does this, the value of their token should go up because as the increase of it's just a meme coin.
Wait, so is it an account or is it a?
I don't know how they're building it. I think it might just be the account. It might be every piece of content that's produced.
I think it's every piece based from what I remember from the podcast. It was every piece of content.
Yeah, so but the cool thing is like
I would make the accounts better. That would be cool.
I think they're doing both. I think your account should be tokened. From the idea that I understand is on top of the posts is the account will have a it's like you essentially will have a stock attached to the success of the account as well.
Wow, I mean that's a very slippery slope for having like
it's gnarly.
A personal credit score.
That's what I mean. Like, what if you're like one day you're like, oh, hey everyone, I've had enough time. I'm done, and it fucking crashes, bro. You like that market so hardcore. You can tell that's the scary thing. I mean, but that's how it always been. That's the weird thing though. Is like, let's say you're huge, but everyone's gonna hate you for it. That's the thing. Social credit score will go to the bottom of that's what happened to Haktua. So that's why I do think people will get greedy and they'll do that where they'll drop the price and then they'll have all their buddies buy it. And then they'll be like, you know what? I missed doing it. I was depressed. I'm coming back. And then all of a sudden everyone buys a token again and it rockets and you make a bunch of money. But the other thing is like all of this is transcribed on the blockchain. Everyone knows what you did and your social credit score is going to go to shit. Like what happened to Haktua? She just rug pulled her entire audience.
Yeah.
So
can you are you able to buy your own stock or no?
Like the token? I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. We'll see when it comes out. But I love talking with you about all this shit.
Yeah.
You want to
No, I know we're running past time. So wow, great conversations. Let's fucking go.
All right, I'm getting recorded. Peace.
All right. Peace.